Today I'm going to teach you how to do your own bookkeeping, DIY. This is going to be without using QuickBooks, Xero, any of the major popular softwares. Say goodbye to recurring fees. Let's get into it. First things first, who is this video for? It is not for people who have physical inventory. Inventory have its own complexity and this video does not address that. So who is it good for? It's good for creatives, coaches, digital marketers, essentially anybody who has an online business that does not involve physical products. So if you got digital products, ebooks, perfect. This can work for you. Let's go to the screen. I'm going to teach you how to do your own bookkeeping using Google Sheets. So this spreadsheet is broken up into 3 sections. There's a compliance section, an input section, and a financial dashboard section. We're going to walk through each section so you know exactly how to do it. So one of the first things you will want to do is go to the configurations tab. So this tab essentially is a preset list of expense types, right? It has about 35 in there. Now you're free to set the list however you want to do it. The point is to go into this tab and change the names according to the expenses in your business. We're going to discuss later how that flows into the rest of the spreadsheet. So you got your business name, go ahead and label it, right? If you want to put your brand in there, you can throw logos, however you want to, but put your name in it so it's a little branded. So ABC LLC, spreadsheet owner name, TCM. So in this section down here, let's say you see an expense in here that you want to change. You may want to keep track of something different. You can just make that change and that change will follow through to the other tabs. It says gifts. Maybe you don't want gifts. Maybe you want to have an expense line just for tolls. Maybe you do a lot of travel and you want to keep track of just the tolls that you're paying out. You can make that change on there and it will flow through. The next section is the inputs section. The input section is broken up into 2 sections, incomes and expenses. This is where you can separate the income and expenses in your business. 1 tab for each. So the way this tab works, now what you will see is that the tabs are color coded. You kind of see this yellowish color and then you see a gray color. The yellowish color is the input cells where you can input information. The gray tabs is the tabs that you should not change because they're formula driven. This is where you can put in your income for your business. You got a coaching program, the invoice number if you have that, put the date, very important, and then the amount. Same for maybe you got a workshop 2. Whatever types of income or revenue sources you have in your business, you put them on this tab. I recommend you put as much information as possible to help jog your memory when you look at this later down the line. So as you put in the date, the formula here would generate what month and year it ties to. All of this information is very key and very important and it will flow into other tabs. Now there's also a notes section. I usually would use this to tell me what type of income it was. Like for example, you have workshop. Maybe you want to keep a note of what type of workshop it was. Maybe this was the workshop on sales funnels. Maybe you want to keep that on there. Maybe you had another workshop about building business credit. Anything that helps you remember what the income source was. Now the expense tab is pretty similar to the income tab. Now the difference is the expenses that you configured on the configuration tab ties directly into the expenses on here. So whatever you put on that configuration tab is a part of the drop down to keep track of what it is. So I already pre-populated some expenses in there. So we have some bank charges, some contractors, insurance costs, and this is where you also can use the note section to designate what it was. Maybe you paid for some ads, paid ads. Maybe you want to put that in there, right? Anything to help you remember what it was for. Maybe that was with Google. Insurance, whatever your insurance was. Maybe it was Allstate. You put that information in there. Maybe this is for your business insurance. In case you get sued, you kind of have some insurance to help you in that area. Bank charges, right? Maybe you have Chase, Bank of America. You put that information into the spreadsheet so that you can keep track of what's happening in your business. Now, the next section is the dashboard section. So based on this information that you input into the income tab as well as the expense tab, you have some formula-driven tabs to help you have a deeper insight of what's happening in your business. So this tab is the income tab, the income overview tab. This pretty much gives you a layout from each month over the years of how your business is growing from a sales perspective. Now, this tab is set up to have multiple years. So this is why I said it is a great tool if you're an established business or if you're starting out. So if you want to compare different years, you're looking at 2024. Now, if you had 2023 and you know your expenses, you can drop that as well into the input tabs, and then you can have that data as well. So if you want to look at 2023 versus 2024, all of that is possible to see. Maybe 1 year is better. Why is that the case? And that may give you some information or some areas to dig into. Maybe there are certain sales, maybe there are certain revenue sources that did better. You kind of have the insight by having the data presented in graphs like this. Next is the expense overview tab. Now, this is one of my favorite tabs. Not only is it pretty similar to the income overview tab, but it also gives you the opportunity to dive deeper into some of your expenses. So let's say you was looking at this graph, the top graph here, right? This is for 2024. So whatever year that you want to look at, let's say you're looking at that year, and you notice like right here, you see this little blimp. You see like, wow, expenses in March really shot up, but you're not able to really see which type of expense is driving your expenses for the month. Well, the graph below it is where you can define what type of expense you want to look at. Maybe you think it's your insurance costs. You say, okay, cool. We had a one-time insurance cost of $1,500 in March. Okay, that's likely driving that total expense to go up. You also know you had some bank charges. And you say, okay, wow, we have $550 worth of bank charges in March as well. Now, if you notice something here, you see January, you have $20 worth of bank charges. And let's say that was normal. Let's say that was normal, $20 worth of bank charges, right? Maybe that's an account fee or whatever the case may be. $20 is the norm. If you see March that shoot up like this can give you information to know where you want to look at. Maybe that's an error. Maybe the bank statement had an issue on it. It's possible. Now, having this information where you can deep dive into the expenses, you can get that information to make a note to follow up. This is why I like this particular graph. Next is the profit overview tab. Now, this tab essentially gives you the gross profit of your business. It has the sales, has the expenses laid out by month, and it gives you what your gross profit for the month, as well as the graph version. So you can see, okay, how am I doing? Okay, in January we had a profit, February we had a profit, March we're in the negative. We had a net loss in March. So now this can give you insight about making different decisions for your business. One of my favorite aspects to this whole spreadsheet is the last tab on here, and it is the profit and loss statement. Now, this statement is very key and very beneficial because being in business, taxes, it's a part of it. When you go to your CPA, your tax professional, or if you do your taxes yourself, you usually need a profit and loss statement to complete your taxes. If you show up to your CPA with your profit and loss statement like this, I'm telling you, you will be one of their favorite clients. If you come prepared, I'm telling you, and I can't say this enough, you will be one of their favorite clients. And this spreadsheet has all of that in there. So if you are starting out in business, you got a spot to put all your incomes, all your expenses. You have an insight into your profits. You have your profit and loss statement to help you with your taxes. It essentially covers what you need to get going. Also, I included in this spreadsheet is a monthly checklist. Now, this checklist is to help you keep on task for your bookkeeping requirements. And essentially, it's a little game, the way I call it, right? You got to gamify the situation. You record your income, you click the box. So simple. Boom. Same with expenses. Boom. And also, too, I put a reminder in here for you to file your receipts. Now, this is very critical. Having income, having expenses, All of that is very important, a part of your business. Growing your business, everyone wants to make a profit in business. If you want to be compliant from a tax perspective, and you also want to substantiate your expenses in case you are ever audited, having your receipts is foundational to doing that. My recommendation, if you're already using Gmail or Google Workspace for your business, you have access to the G Drive. Just create a folder, call it receipts. You can even be a little more fancy and make a folder for every month. And whenever you have a receipt, if it's online, PDF it, save it in there, or if it's a physical receipt, take a picture and just save it into your G Drive. It will make a world of a difference come tax time or if you get audited. So once you file all your expenses in your G Drive, check it off. And then at this point, you can review the income using the dashboards, making sure that it looks right. Once you check that off, expenses looks right, you're a profit, you're okay with that. Now, the note section. This is where you can make notes. Maybe there's something that happened. Like earlier, I mentioned about the bank charges that was high. That was $550. This is where you can put a note for that. Follow up on bank charges. Now you have a note for you to keep track. There you have it. I just taught you how you can do your own bookkeeping using Google Sheets. This is the exact spreadsheet that I've used for my business when I started. So if you're interested in that spreadsheet, I'll drop it down in the description. Feel free to check it out and start using it for your business. I always say your bookkeeping system don't have to be complex. You just have to have something consistent and robust that you're following day to day. My only recommendation is not the back of the napkin type process. Don't do that. Well, guys, this is the CPA Mindset, helping you learn and think like a CPA. EFB, see you in the next video.